In this video, we'll be talking about corrosion and the damage it can cause to various materials, including oil tankers at sea. So, corrosion, before we begin, is a chemical process that wears away or causes rust to form on certain metals, for example, iron or steel. So the corrosion basically happens when something like iron or steel is oxidized by, for example, reactions between the iron, oxygen, and water. And when it's oxidized, this means the material in question loses electrons. And this loss of electrons weakens the structural integrity of the material and generally leads to the formation of hydrated iron oxide, which we know as rust. So here is the detailed reaction for how rust is commonly formed. We begin with iron, or sometimes steel, and then we have reactions with the iron, for example, with the oil tankers, with the surrounding water and the oxygen. So we have a reaction here, and the water actually steals electrons from the iron so that the iron becomes oxidized, and all of this leads to the formation of iron oxide over here, or rust. And so this process happens slowly over a few years or decades, but eventually it causes much damage. And it's not just oil tankers, you have structures, buildings all over the world are subjected to these kinds of issues, including pipes, anything that's metal or susceptible to oxidation or rust is going to have this structural integrity weakening, and it's going to be compromised by corrosion over time. So here you can see the brand new hull of an oil tanker. They're always red below the waterline here. You can see the waterline, or the split between the red and blue sides, or the red and black. And the reason why the lower hull is always painted red is due to the anti-fouling paints that they apply, so that the lower hull is not corroded as quickly as it would be without the paints. There's also an important technique they apply to the lower hull. The zinc strips here, you can see they just attach it to the hull, and the zinc strips basically force the iron on the hull to accept electrons instead of losing them as they would normally, which essentially insulates the hull from being corroded. Now, you do have to reapply the red anti-fouling paint every 5 to 10 years, but most ship owners don't do that because it's way too expensive. So, over the course of 20-25 years, you get ships looking like this, where we have severe corrosion going on the lower hull, and you have the gray bare steel has been exposed because all the anti-fouling paint has come off and no one bothered to repaint it. This here is actually the VLCC, or Very Large Crude Carrier Tanker, the Marinera, which was built in 2002 by Hyundai Heavy Industries. It originally looked like something like this, but now, because of the corrosion that's been taking place through this chemical reaction, the lower hull has this very corroded and gray appearance. So this was an overview of what corrosion can do to various different structures, including iron and steel surfaces, through the oxidation of the iron, which then leads to the formation of rust.